Let me take the time out and say hats off and good morning to one and all, especially our listeners to Classic Radio, our viewers of GBN TV. Welcome. It's another edition of To The Point, today being Thursday, the 11th day of September 2025. Good morning once again to one and all, especially our viewers via social and viewers and listeners via social media platforms, whether it's a Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning and welcome. I'm your host, GT. Folks, today we're going to have an open line since we're not going to have any department from the RGPF representing today on today's program, so which leaves us the opportunity to hear from you, our listeners and viewers out there. The telephone numbers that you can use to, of course, be on the program: 435-2041. That's 435-2041. Double options for you to calling today on today's program, whether it's the WhatsApp or the direct line. You have that option of calling in. As we move forward, folks, I want to mention to our callers, I beg of you to be respectful when you do call in. No derogatory terms should be used, of course, in terms of your contributions on the program. And of course, we should have a smooth. Be brief. I beg of you also, so we can accommodate as many callers as possible as we proceed this morning. Folks, 435-2041. We do have our first caller. We say good morning, caller. You're welcome. Good morning, and how are you this morning?
I'm fine, GT. Just about I was in a classroom now, but I decided I want to make a little contribution before
so appreciate
I rejoin the classroom. It's a virtual classroom. Anyway, I thought that I must continue where I left off this morning because I don't think we're getting it enough. I mean, the Caribbean have long been cried to let it be, for it to be a zone of peace. We had near mishap in the past, including the Cuban Missile Crisis, where the world might have come to an end, possibly. And now, the same thing could happen now by the same people who the aggressors. The same people who've invaded Grenada using pretext, notwithstanding the fact that we cannot deny that we had our own issues here. But when they have their own issues and they had a civil war, nobody will intervene on their behalf. Anyway, what I want to say is that I think we need to focus on asking certain questions. Questions like, why should they be training in Puerto Rico? The same thing they did for Grenada, Amba and the Ambanese. And now we know that they have a permanent place present in Guyana, allegedly training the Guyanese Defense Force. I also want to challenge people. We say we are CARICOM. Guyana is supposed to be the headquarters of CARICOM. Why have we remained silent? And there was something among our people where America, we can't stop them from coming. Look what the Nepalese people do, especially young people. I'm not saying that we should do that. I mean, that is extreme. But through, the determination of the young people that, corruption cannot go along, and, it's unfortunate that they have done the worst, Anyway, but we could stand up, we could voice, we could resist, we could prepare ourselves like the Latin Americans are doing. People, those in the United States, they are sending back money to their people because they know that their time to be deported is imminent. Do our people doing that? Do our people in the diaspora? These are things we need to engage our people in because, as the scriptures say, he was a liar from the beginning. And they've lied. They've lied in terms of, whether the America is this, whatever, because the black people was not considered human beings. The indigenous people was not considered human beings. And also now the environment is not considered worthy of being in existence. So all kinds of things is happening on their behalf. We also have to go back, and I know you have to be brief, and I need to be brief myself too. There was a statement that the head of the Southern Command made a few months ago. It was a woman in military uniform who explicitly said we have to really get back those minerals that maybe China and Japan and Russia is probably could get or is getting. We need to get it back. Anyway, thank you, GT, and have a good day.
Thank you also. Appreciate your contribution. 435-2041, 435-2049. The lines are open. Let me say good morning to the drivers on Nation Roads. Good morning to you. Hope all is well. Drive along with that due care and attention. We go back to the phone line. Let me say good morning to the caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Telesford. Greetings. How are you?
Doing good, sir. And hope all is well with you also.
Never a dull moment in this here country. Neither should I say around the Caribbean. I want to warn Grenadians to be very careful what's happening in the Caribbean, Southern Caribbean. It is highly likely that the United States may venture into Venezuela on the very poor pretext. Of course, we know they're famous for lying. We've experienced the lies here. They told the world in no uncertain terms that we were building a 10,000-foot military aircraft base and a naval base. Of course, the world swallowed that. So when they did what they do, they had a pretext. We know what they did with Iraq, what they did with Afghanistan. We know what they did with Libya. We know what they do all around. They lie. They posted, and this I can speak freely on now because I consulted my friends in Venezuela who have examined the video that they put out there, Mr. Telesford, with this go-fast boat with 4 powerful engines in the rear. Yes, they put out at least 300 HP each one, so it's almost 1,200 HP. The boat type of boat does exist. But here it is. Imagine that. This one of the smartest of the people in contraband and drug affairs in South America, knowing well that there is a flotilla of landing ships, anyway, these are the ones that carry tanks and landing crafts and so on. Missilistic frigates and missilistic destroyers with that, and backed up by helicopters and otherwise, and atomic powered and armed submarine, that they will jump on the boat, 11 of them that nobody ever saw, and just drive straight into them. Imagine that. That'd be crazy people. These are the people that build submarines to transport their drugs. But I want to refer to this to prove that what these people are promulgating to us are lies. Only recently, the United Nations published a report on the drug situation. 100% of the drugs, the cocaine that come from South America is produced in Colombia and the north of Peru. Colombia has 8 military bases belonging to the United States, and they know where all the factories and plants and laboratories for the production of the drugs are. 90%, according to the United Nations report, leave South America on the Pacific side. The United Nations report. Go check it out, brothers and sisters. So you see, the excuse that they're making because they want to get at Venezuela oil in the Amazon and Orinoco, they're making excuses. Beware, Grenadians. You have to take side on this because it will affect us too. And I'm warning the government of Grenada not to give any accessibility of our airport, no port, to do anything to support the United States criminal activities in the region. Grenada and the Caribbean should be a zone of peace. Finally, Mr. Telesford, do I have a minute more? I had to ask, because they find out talking too much.
Go right ahead, please, sir. Go right ahead.
Mr. Telesford,
as you said, 1 minute.
Yeah. I want to ask this question because there are things I want to say. Have I, in your presence on any of your programs, used any quote-unquote taboo, obscene, uncouth, vulgar language? Have I?
Not that I know of, sir.
Very well. Have I ever defamed, libel, or slandered any individual in this country on your program, Mr. Telesford?
Not that I know of, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Telesford. So all those detractors that cannot handle the message that I promulgate, the message with practical bibliographical references within the Constitution of Grenada, to challenge them and the crooked, hypocrite, corrupt, and stupid decisions they made to pass these shithole laws to bramble the people.
So, Rula, I want to wish you a great morning. Have a good one, sir.
Nice
Have a good one, sir. 435-2041. 435-2041. That's the number if you'll be part of To The Point this morning here on Classic Radio GBN TV. Let's go to the phone line. Caller, you are live. Good morning and welcome.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning to you, sir. Doing good.
Okay. Mr. Telesford, there is this minister, government minister, that work. He always put his tie on top of his shoulder. And I think if you look all over the world, you're going to see everybody wear the tie properly. And I think he ain't working for himself. He's working for us. He's working for the government. I think the Prime Minister should pull him up and make him wear his tie properly. Or otherwise, if you don't like a long tie...
Quick question, sir. But is...
I don't use no tie at all.
Quick question, sir, if you don't mind me. But is that distracting the minister from performing his task on a daily basis?
No, but it's not the right way to wear a tie. It's not to destruct him, but it's not the way to wear a tie. If you look all over the world, people wear it properly. If we want to do things right, let's do it right. That's what I'm talking about. Let's do it right. Not making him do it, but it's not looking good. It's just like the young kids that start wearing the pants below the bottom, right? Somebody they see do it and they start doing it. What's going to happen? You're going to take that telling to the kids that if you go into an interview, put your tie on top of your shoulder, or if you're talking to somebody, put your tie on top of your shoulder. I don't think that is right. I think the Prime Minister should pull him up on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good morning yourself. We have another caller via the WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, GT, and good morning to Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. I want to echo my voice in calling for the Caribbean to be a zone of peace. We are one of the more tranquil areas in the world. And my call today, my clarion call today is for the U.S. to hands off the Caribbean. Grenada has benefited, yes, from Venezuela. Many may not like the regime that is ruling in Venezuela, but Venezuela has had help us, help us in the past. So my clarion call this morning is for the Caribbean to remain a zone of peace. Have a good one. Have a safe day.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your call. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. GT. And how are you today, sir?
Doing good. What about you, sir?
Well, I'm okay for now, but I just want to take as a senior citizen. There's a road project going on Granance Road. They're shutting down that road in the night. You have to go up to Gulf Coast. When you meet to the top of Gulf Coast, you have to make a right turn. You continue and you go down, you have to make another right. Before you make that right, they have a sign almost on the step of a shop. And immediately after that now, you have to make a left turn. There's no sign there showing you where you have to turn in. In the night, it is very not visible enough. And there's about 3 different roads in that area where you can go up a hill, then you can go down to Coffee Bow Hill. Strange that a lot of people don't know that road. But our leaders said that they're going to fix the by roads. Well, I am accustomed with that area, and being as nighttime, I still get puzzled. I made a wrong turn, then I have to come back and then I find the right path. So they should put a sign there at that left, we have to make the left turn. And besides that, they should have they have a lot of solar lights all over the place. They should put at least about 4 solar lights in that area, on that road there. And from where you have to turn to reach the top of the hill of Montu gap there to go down to where you have to go down for food fair, there was at least 3 incidents there. One car go down in a drain on the top of the hill. Another one go down, lower down in the drain again. And then they have a gap there where people don't want you to pass in the place they put in things. Why are these leaders mama-guying us and telling us things? Years, how much months, almost a year ago, they said they're going to fix these by roads. Put signs, and when I drive down yesterday, that same company of what doing that road, they have about 6 signs down at the bottom of the roundabout, the Caricam roundabout, in the drain. They're doing nothing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Folks, we due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, more of your calls. Stay with us. To the point, Classic Radio and Open Line edition this morning. We will be right back after the break. Don't touch your dial.
Climate. Need to check your bill balance? Use the Grenlec mobile app. Open the Grenlec mobile app and tap the icon labeled Balances at the bottom of the screen. View your bill details, including your current bill balance, the due date by which you must settle your bill, the amount and date of the last payment you made. It's quick, easy, and available 24/7. Convenience at your fingertips.
Are you ready to take charge of your money, build wealth, and protect your family's legacy? Then join us on October 9th, 2025 at Radisson Grenada Beach Resort for your Financial Future 2.0 Legacy, Literacy, and Liberation, a one-day financial summit designed to break cycles, build wealth, and leave a lasting legacy. You'll gain real-life budgeting hacks, a money mindset reboot, steps to create generational wealth, and practical tips on investing, estate planning, insurance, health, and business finance, all from expert speakers who know how to turn knowledge into action. With 2 inspirational keynotes, 3 powerful panel discussions, and 6 breakout sessions, you will leave with your personalized action plan for success. Don't wait. Secure your seat today. Tickets are EC $350 at disruptiveleadershipconference.com/YFF. Your Financial Future 2.0. Your next chapter starts here.
Once again, listeners, welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point here, Classic Radio, GBN TV. I want to wish everyone a wonderful day thus far. Certainly hope that you're having a wonderful day thus far. Once again, it's a live call-in program this morning, which means you listeners, viewers, you have the opportunity to call in, share your views, share your concern. And I beg of you, of course, callers, when you're calling in, make sure that you'll be respectful in terms of your contribution, in terms of the contribution you're making. Let's have the appropriate language, or inappropriate language, I would say, will not be accepted on the program. So please do, of course, be mindful of that. Let's go to the phone line. We do have a caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome. I guess we lost that caller there. 435-2041. 435-2041. We go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning to you, GT. A couple of things. First of all, I listened to the Minister of Education. I think it was one day last week. Speaking about the provisions that are being made for students and families and so. And while I agree that we have to give support to the children. Education is important. It's fundamental. It's like more or less a right. I mean, I listen to the litany of things that are being done. I mean, from the lowest level way up to the college level. And I'm asking myself, is this country becoming a welfare state? Now, where do the responsibilities of government end and the responsibilities of parents begin? I was raised poor, but we made sacrifices. We walked long distances to school. I mean, so many things. But today, it seems as though we're just falling over to give and give and give. And we're developing that sort of mentality in our country of entitlement. I don't know. I mean, some people feel that when you have, I heard in the last government, they were bragging about the percentage of the budget that goes into safety net programs. Broadening safety net programs is a bad sign of a country. It means that fewer people are producing, and the state has to put more. I mean, how far can we go doing that? I'm looking at even on the roadside. I mean, you cut the side of the road, fair enough. You go, there is a box drain. You go beyond the box drain into the other person's property. And in some cases, like in the South, these are $1 million properties. If you ask a real estate agent the value of that property, some of them are into millions. You go beyond the box drain, you cut the person's bush, you trespass actually, and you take the bush from beyond the box drain and put it into the road to pay a truck to bring it to Perseverance. First of all, that kind of debris has no right in Perseverance. Right? So to me, we have it all wrong. I don't see why property owners cannot be made, especially in the areas where property has certain values, to pay for cleaning their property on the side of the road. You give them a time limit, that's why you put it on the trucks that are parked illegally, and if they don't do it by then, you clean it, you add it onto their property tax bill. We cannot go ahead doing all these things for people in a small society like this. Oh, is this sustainable? No, I listened to the minister, to the opposition leader during the week on your program, and she's asking to bring back all the emergency measures over there after COVID. Are we in an emergency now? Haven't salaries increased significantly since COVID? The minimum wage in some cases have doubled some people's salaries. But you're still saying, put everything back. The gas cap. How much has fuel increased in the last 5 years? I don't think Rubis has a problem selling gas. You see the tankers are going up and down. They're working overtime. I know the bus drivers, from what I heard, are getting compensated. All I'm saying is, how ridiculous can we be as a poor country? Asking to give everything, just give. Where is it coming from? Who is paying this?
Caller, going to ask you to take another 10 seconds and wrap, please.
Yeah, I don't call often, as you know. Some people call.
Yeah, caller, but I just ask you to take another 10 seconds and wrap, please.
Right. I even heard the opposition leader speaking about sugar. Sugar is killing Grenada. It's costing us millions of dollars in healthcare. Diabetes, amputations, and all kinds of things. Personally, I think sugar should be brought beyond the reach of the poor man. I'm telling you why I'm saying that. Because we are feeding ourselves on sugar, and we're killing ourselves as a country. We should make sugar difficult to be reached, because it doesn't have nutrients in many cases, and it is just fueling diabetes, which is destroying our land. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live via WhatsApp. Go right ahead, please.
Good morning, JT.
Good morning to you, sir.
Mr. Bernard, I'm totally in agreement with you, because if you continue using sugar, it could build like what they call a wall and that could also create a lot of problem also with the diabetes and stuff. So I fully support, and some of the comments that you make, I totally agree and support you 100%. GT, good morning again.
Good morning to you, sir. Yes, go right ahead with your contribution, please.
All right, okay, my contribution this morning, I know you are the opposition leader on last Tuesday. I was trying to reach out to because I had a couple of questions for her. But one of the things, I look at the double standard which she comes up with, you know what I mean? And then I will also draw the reference to the age of consent, 16 years, okay? And then when that law was passed, they had no consultation. Nobody had the input, not even the social partners, the churches, whatever. All of a sudden now, when
you're saying, and you having factual information as related to that, sir? You saying
yes,
there was zero consultation? You know that for a fact?
Yes, there was no consultation that goes around where people could have given their input.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They didn't come to the different parishes and discuss it. So now we hear about the law going to pass with the 12 year. I remember about a year and a half, someone had called the same GBN program and they was talking about like a 11-year child that was pregnant from St. David's, and there was information it could have been her grandfather, but some family members. And if that law was in place, maybe that child could have been protected. You understand? I am down for the law. You know what I mean? It's true. They need to have consultation. You know what I mean? I will be very happy about that. But when she come in on the program and talking about consultation, and the day before she was on Real FM saying that they would not be voting for the law. So right now is, you know what I mean? I want to know, well, why she asked for consultation, and then she said that no members from the opposition will be voting for it anyway. You know what I mean? So I think the Prime Minister should continue with it. And one more thing I want to say, GT. You know, I listened to the NNP meeting the other day after the General Council, and I was very displeased when I heard the opposition, not the opposition leader, but the chairman himself, a former Prime Minister, will call the present Prime Minister a damn idiot. You understand?
Caller, have yourself a great morning. Have yourself a great morning. 435-2041. 435-2041. That's a number if you want to be part of today's edition of To The Point. And I did mention, folks, that once you be using language that is deemed inappropriate, I will certainly disengage the conversation. So let's continue, folks. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Caller, good morning. Caller, good morning. You're live. Guess we lost that caller there. 435-2041. 435-2041. That's a number if you want to be part of To The Point this morning. The lines are open. You have the WhatsApp, which is the same number, 435-2041, and the direct line, 435-2041. Let's continue. Caller, you are live. Good morning and you're welcome.
Morning, GT. How is everything?
I'm doing great, sir. What about you this morning?
I'm pretty okay.
All right.
If we CARICOM in who organize, I mean, they have a CARICOM system in the Caribbean. If we have already poured CARICOM. All the years they're discussing about CARICOM unity and CARICOM people coming together and they can't implement that. If you then go stop America from stop coming in the Caribbean and do what they want in the Caribbean, Caribbean people will stop America from coming in the Caribbean with the military force. Who will stop them? They had the bomb, they had the plane, they had the everything, they had the submarine, they had everything, they had the military fleet. Who will stop them? We go talk. What do you do? They want to invade Venezuela because they Venezuela dealing with jokes and the Prime Minister then going their way so that they vote. I'm saying let's take over Venezuela. Their problem in Venezuela. They cripple Venezuela economy. But because Venezuela is going their way. Venezuela going with Russia and China and Cuba. So they sanction Venezuela, they cripple the economy, and everybody live in Venezuela. Run out of Venezuela, want to survive. Venezuela is a prosperous country, you know. Venezuela was prosperous in the past, boss man. People live and go and shop in Venezuela and come back from Grenada and other islands. Shop in Venezuela. People live and go and work in Venezuela and make living and come back out. No Venezuela, no this anti-model living by. Because sanction them. They can't sell the oil. They hold all the gold and things in the outside wall, all the financial, and they can't come on, man. The advantage.
All right, caller, thank you. I think we got the point. Have a good morning. Thank you so much. We do have another caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller here live. Good morning. Go right ahead, please.
Hello.
Good morning,
Mr. GD. Thanks for having me. I think the caller, about 2 callers ago, he raised some very important point. And I think one of the ways we can help to solve that problem is to what I call manage expectation. You know, there is no such thing as a free lunch. And I think the poor will always dwell with us, and we have to be our brother's keeper. And there are people, for whatever reasons, may not be able to provide for themselves, and fringe of society and so on. We have to help them. We have to help one another. That being said, I think we do have a problem in our island of Grenada in terms of expectation. Folks have to realize that, I hear folks talk about, we should get medication free health care, subsidies for buses, no VATs, nothing. I mean, where will the country get income from to do those things, to give increased salary, to improve minimum wage, to provide for the roads, the infrastructure, healthcare, medication, all those things? We need to have a serious conversation. I think this has to be started in elementary school. Yes, you don't want the government to tax you too much, and we have a right to complain if we think we are unduly taxed. But that being said, the alternative should not be zero. And there should be a process where you show some mercy, etc., and give people a way. There are ways to deal with the system, but we have an approach that there should be, you listen to us, we think there should be zero tax, yet for all the government should pay off for all those things. And where will the government get this money from? From subsidies from other countries? Well, guess what happens in other countries? We are taxed like, folks in other countries are taxed like crazy. And so when a friendly country give you the grant money and stuff like that in subsidies, taking it from the taxpayers from that country. So we need to wake up, and I think as politicians, we should. It may not be a comfortable thing to say, but we need to promote the sense of managing expectation and education. And it should start from a primary school level. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your call as always. Folks, we due for a break. Let's take it when we come back. Of course, more of your calls here on today's edition of To The Point. We'll be right back.
In Grenada, sports aren't just a game. They're a way of life. They teach discipline, teamwork, and resilience. They inspire the next generation to push boundaries and chase excellence. That's why the Investment Migration Agency of Grenada is proud to support sports initiatives as part of our commitment to youth and national development. When we invest in sports programs, we invest in the future. We invest in the health and well-being of our youth, and we invest in broadening Grenada's reach, proudly connecting our athletes, our talent, and our nation to a global community. Together, we all go further. The Investment Migration Agency, unlocking the possibilities.
Quench your thirst with an explosion of taste and pleasure. Join the fun with Santal juices loaded with vitamin C and packed with lots of fun in a variety of flavors.
Banana, strawberry, coconut, mango, peach, orange, apple, pineapple, and more.
Santal is synonymous with great flavor, awesome taste, and top quality. Grab a cold one, just ask for it by name. Santal juices. Available at shops and supermarkets nationwide and distributed by Budget Foods Inc., Tempe, St. George's, 440-3663.
Now we say welcome back to our listeners and viewers. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Those of you who are listening via our social media platforms, good morning to you also, and welcome. We go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. You're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Go right ahead, please, caller.
Yes, what I want to emphasize about is that, no, truthfully speaking, I've been hearing, and for years I'm an old lady already, reach out 65, so I could explain that. Now, from time I'm hearing about government giving this, giving that. Everybody want to get, just simple and easy. No, you have to build a house, government have to do it. Hell, government have to do it. You have to mind the children, government have to do it. You have to get school books, government. You have to get a shoes, government. Now look, people know how to come to grips with this thing now, and learn to know. You have a little dollar, If you have $1, I learned from my parents, you put by a little for the rainy day so that tomorrow you could shove your hand. Not everything you're looking for depending on the government. Government is not to give everything, a poor thing. That's straining government with this kind of policy that they bring into this nation and bring into these people in the mindset. So everything is dependency on government. No, stop it. Come to grips and put these things in all your naval stream.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Caller via WhatsApp, you're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Judy. Good morning to your listeners.
Good morning.
I wish to dispel the myth that sugar is bad for the body. Sugar, when it's consumed in the body converts it into energy. The pancreas works to produce insulin so that the glucose can go through the bloodstream. So sugar is not our problem with regard to diabetes. It is our lifestyle. You know, we're not doing what we're supposed to do. We're not active. We're not burning up the calories. So let's dispel that myth. Sugar should be available to everybody, be they rich and poor. Let us not discriminate. However, there is a more important point on the economics with regard to this whole question of restriction on Grenada fisheries. Well, there was a conference which took place recently. We had participation from persons within Grenada. It was an ICAT WECAF technical workshop that took place in Panama. And my point here is that you had different attendees. So, for example, you had people from Jamaica, Miss Mallet, who attended. And you had from Grenada, Miss Bowen, who attended. So our situation should be, our employees in the government, our people in the permanent secretary's position and ministerial position should be aware of situation. It shows us that our people are not following up, not doing their work. Because since 2017, you had a communication that came from Crafton Isaac, and he identified persons who should be contacted, like Minister Dabrio, Junior Mahon. You know, these people obviously were not doing the work for us to get to where we are today in Grenada. And we need to call people out. People cannot be collecting taxpayers' money and not doing their work. So it's not just ministers to be blamed. If we wake up and we realize that, look, we can't keep postponing things and expect to get the same result. I mean, you hear all sorts of baloney, people blaming the President of the United States. What does the President of the United States has to do with our collection of data and presenting reports since 2017? We're falling behind with basic reports and collecting data. So Grenadians need to wake up and realize that we have to do the work that we need to do and stop collecting money and not doing our work. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir. We do have another caller. Let's go back to the direct line. We lost that caller there, 4352041. We're moving up to 20 minutes before 10 o'clock this morning. The program wraps up at the top 10. Let's go to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, there are some important pillars that every nation should work on. You're talking about ethics, you're talking about the religious concept and the social and educational pillars. No, I'm saying that to say, if you notice, in particular the Caribbean, or let's say case in study Grenada, if you notice, a lot of folks go by basically who they like and who they don't like. We don't go by studies, by feasibility studies and research. For example, we don't know what the statistics say about certain things from a political point of view. So I think that should be introduced in the curriculum, like ethics. I think we used to have it before, and politics. Like, we don't understand the intricacies of politics. And for example, from a religious, social point of view, again, because if you don't understand or know the importance of the sovereignty and the importance of the God factor and these important things, then you wouldn't really truly, fully understand your value. So when a person not positive and they don't like their own, it will trickle down to the children. And that's why the colonial system was successful by even having us brainwashed now. Because we have to understand what is going on. If a nation not proud about themselves and we don't understand fully what is going on, then we will be oblivious to a lot of different situations politically and socially. Because, for example, you go and you hear all kind of derogatory music in the morning, the children listening music in the morning, right? That is not good for the nation because it trickles down. It causes a domino effect. Children become disrespectful because what you hear and see shape your destiny. Anyhow, this is something I could talk on for a whole 2 hours. But let me just cut it short this morning. Just food for thought. Have a blessed day.
You too, sir. Have a good one. Thank you so much. Caller, you're live via WhatsApp. Good morning and welcome.
Yeah, JT, good morning.
Good morning. And you've been on already, sir, so be very brief, please, sir.
You know, I was just trying to make a point about the disrespect that people use, and which I always call in on your program and a certain language being used, and I would never.
Yes, but going forward, caller, going forward, any language that's deemed being inappropriate, I will disengage. So I'm just letting you know going forward.
You know. All right, you have a good day.
You too, sir. Have a good one. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
My point, I hear a lot of the callers calling and making a point about remove for the poor, what we call the poor and vulnerable, right? But at the same time, the business people getting so many concessions. None of them would call and say, well, remove what the business people getting. Anytime they time up, what they do, they sell over the company and next person come and get it and they function. We have to stop all of that. We have to be across the board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your call also. 435-2041. And we have a comment from someone via WhatsApp. They're saying, good morning. I would like to know what is happening with the relocation of the Postal Corporation, which is creating a major delay in receiving our mail as the Bruce Street and Carnage is closed. Please, would like to have some confirmation on that. Of course, I hope someone from the Postal Corporation could probably calling and explain that. Caller, you are live. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning. I want to congratulate the caller who called and spoke about the sugar. I was speaking to a student in my vehicle now, and let me tell you this. If you look at a fig and saltfish as what we just call provision and saltfish, sometimes it's the saltfish loaded with sodium. And this, I'm showing you a double one here. Then you have flour, dumpling, sweet potato, plantain, dashing, fig. Sometimes you get breadfruit. You know, a double whammy. You have hypertension waiting, and you have diabetes. Now, I think we need to re-educate ourselves because we grew up hearing sugar, and he's correct. The brain needs sugar, energy. The body needs it. The thing is portion sizes. What is bad is carbohydrates. We get that from rice, macaroni, the Irish potatoes, chicken and chips is the number one seller.
Well, Caller, do you know that rice also gives you energy, right?
Yes, right, and that's the point I'm making here. So it's not just sugar, because honey is good, but if you use too much honey, it could be bad. So even adults, I'm hearing some big educated people who I would think is educated enough falling and making that kind of a statement.
So the bottom line is you say is quantity. How much you consume?
Is managing your portion sizes, getting regular physical exercise, water, so being active, and managing your portion sizes, because sugar is not the problem. Carbohydrates, that is the problem. So you could ban the importation of sugar and you will still have diabetes. So we need to understand those terms, because we are also misleading the youths who are coming up. They will think, well, it's granulated sugar. But you could also take molasses, and too much molasses can cause a build-up of carbohydrates, and it could cause you to have that same problem. So it's not sugar. We have to re-educate ourselves. It's not sugar. It is carbohydrates. That is the problem. When the carbohydrates lingers in the body there, it turns into those things. And so we need to start to understand that it is not sugar. GT, one more thing. Check a boss man, for example, because I have engaged with several of them. In the morning, what do they have? A juice and a sandwich, bread and sweet, right? Lunchtime, they go and buy what? A rice, or maybe a Chinese. What do you get? Pasta and rice, and they drink a Coke. I know of people who don't use sugar, never use sugar, but they are diabetic. So So we need to re-educate ourselves.
Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller. And I certainly think you made your point. Thank you so much. 435-2041. Someone via the WhatsApp is saying there is a pipe burst in the entrance of Quarry Road. This is the third time for the year that this has happened and been repaired. The last burst was about 2 weeks ago. I reported to Nawasa. They came and looked at it, and nothing has been done since. The problem will continue unless Nawasa put the pipe on the ground. The tractor trailers, monster trucks, and other vehicles driving over the pipe. Repairs make no sense. It's just a waste of man's hour or man's power, per se. Taxpayers' funds, etc. Now, Nawasa needs to wake up and look at the situation realistically. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
I'm hearing people talking about how the Caribbean is in a war zone. I don't understand. I don't hear bombs busting. I don't hear people dying. What is all this problem? I don't know. Maybe you know if the Caribbean is in a war zone. Please help me.
Thank you, sir. Have a good morning. 435-2041. Someone is saying the processed sugar is bad for our health, especially the white one. We can get our full supply needed from sugar from our fruits. Even then, we need, of course, to be careful with our intake. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you are live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, GT, and how are you?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm blessed.
It's been a long time.
Yes, it's an observation, and I want to make a comment on that observation. I notice a minister continue to wear his tie on his shoulder. Yeah. Now, if you have young parliamentarians coming up and you have 2 or 3 of them walking to Parliament or walking to a meeting with the tie on the shoulder, how does that look? I personally feel that the Speaker of the House should address that in a situation where you tell the person, the minister, you're not properly dressed. Long ago, when you have a tie, people used to say you're well dressed. So I don't know if that is the norm. That this minister continues to wear his tie, half on his neck, round his neck, his shoulder, and the other half down. I don't know if that is the norm now, but it's not sending a good message to the young parliamentarians who is coming up and feel that is okay. So I don't know if the Prime Minister or the Speaker of the House or somebody could talk to that minister and let him know what he's doing, the example he's setting is wrong. You have a blessed day.
You too, caller. Have a good one. All the best.
Bye-bye.
435-2041. 435. We have approximately 10 minutes before we wrap today's edition of To The Point, our open line edition for today. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you this morning?
I'm fine.
Yes, hear from you.
Yes. I want to make a point. First of all, the question of the road work that have been done, the repair to the roads. I cannot understand why the state is allowing coal mix to be used. We are in the middle of the rain season, okay? Tens of thousands of dollars. Foreign currencies are being used to get the bitumen, etc., etc. And why? Why under the sun? The state continues to allow the coal mix to be used. The rain comes. You know what is going to happen, because it does not have the same integrity as a hot mix to remain for a long period of time. I think that practice should cease and cease immediately. The question about the Caribbean, the hypocrisy with us is that we are too ideologically intoxicated. Venezuela used to be and still continues to violate the territorial waters of Trinidad and Tobago in the Gulf of Paria. The CARICOM sits dumb when Venezuelan gunboat or the patrol boat or the Coast Guard vessel or the military craft sees Trinidad and Tobago fishermen, etc., in Trinidad and Tobago territorial waters. The Caribbean should not be a zone of peace then. The question of what the United States is doing to protect its interests. Russia is doing that. China is doing that. These people are contending for global dominance with the Earth's resources, etc., etc. So when a picture is painted as though that America is the only devil, the Chinese have the same objective to control the world. They are in Africa and exploiting the Africans, similar to what the European colonialists did and continue to do. I think the question about a war in the Caribbean with Venezuela is not in anybody's interest. It's unfortunate that we do not have the influence that we should have because the Caribbean is fragmented. Just as how the islands are divided, we are. We cannot have a single currency for CARICOM. We cannot even decide on a single air transport means with a single carrier for the Caribbean. Everybody wants to go his own way, and we continue the division. Perhaps it's illusionary for us to be thinking, hey, listen, let us form a singularity, a single voice to confront the United States. The economies of the Caribbean are solely dependent in many areas on the United States. So this is a line that ought to be trod cautiously and intelligently, and I am anti-war. The cocaine trade with Colombia is bordering Venezuela. While they are along the Pacific coast, if they use that method, either they have to go through the Panama Canal or go way down south, the southern tip of South America, and come up the Atlantic, which everybody knows they are not going to do that. It is common knowledge, not just the Americans, but the British and others, and Caribbean governments have been speaking about the drug trade, where Venezuela is used as a transit point. I remember not too long, many years ago, during the Fidel Castro administration, General Ochoa, a Cuban general, was executed by the Cuban authorities for being involved in the drug trade with Escobar and others. And I think that was the right method to be used. The drug trade and drugs, the cocaine and other illicit narcotics, they are going through Venezuelan territory into the Caribbean Sea, the shorter route, and it goes wherever it goes, which is wrong. So I do believe the drug trade should be fought tooth and nail in a relentless manner with all the military might, anyone that possesses that capacity to eliminate it, because the drug trade doesn't just threaten America, it threatens every human being on the planet. Have a nice day, my brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate your contribution this morning. Folks, we due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we get into the final segment of today's program. We will be right back after the break. Don't touch your dial.
Grenada, get ready to cheer for Kirani, Anderson, Lyndon and others as they join over 2,000 athletes from around the world in Tokyo, Japan for the 2025 World Athletic Championship from September 13th to 21st. GBN Television goes live from the Japan National Stadium, bringing you exciting coverage of every race, every throw, every jump as the athletes vie for track and field supremacy. Remember the dates: September 13th to 21st, the 2025 World Athletic Championship, Tokyo, Japan, live on GBN Television, 7 and 11. Compliments: Grenada Cooperative Bank, Hubbard's, Glen, and the National Lotteries Authority.
Stumps ready? The biggest party in sports is back. It's Republic Bank CPL 2025. Bowls off August 14th to September 21st. 34 matches, 6 teams, 6 nations. Your Caribbean cricket frenzy. From big sixes to deadly yorkers, catch every boundary, every wicket, every moment. Live on GBN TV and Classic Radio. This is not just cricket. This is CPL 2025. Don't miss a ball.
GBN's broadcast of CPL 2025 is made possible by Republic Bank, Hubbard's, Glen, Echo Blue Limited, Demerara Mutual Life, Answer Coatings, and Flow.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back to our viewers. We have approximately 7 minutes or so left on today's program, which means that 7 minutes left to hear your calls, express your views and your concerns for today's edition of To The Point. We go back to the phone line. Caller, your life. Guess we lost that caller there. 435-2041. 435-2041. I think maybe it's me touching that switch a little too fast. Caller, your life. Good morning.
Your indulgence for a minute, Mr. Telesford.
Go right ahead, please, sir.
In reference to the comment made by someone a while ago
on the issue related to coal mix. Coal mix, the best coal mix that can be made, all depends on what is known as the asphaltic cement. In other words, the grade of the bitumen, the black material that is used. The best cold mix has to have as one of the principal ingredients a thing called water. Just an observation, Mr. Telesford. Have a nice day, will you?
You too, sir. Have a good one. 435-2041, 435-2041. We go back to the phone line. We have a caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. Welcome, sir.
I think, GT, we have to be extremely honest. And some people, including some of those who call, are extremely dishonest. Because while masquerading under neutrality using certain words in terms of the conflict in the Caribbean, they have consistently supported the United States' belligerent, bullying attitude towards anyone that doesn't fit in satisfy the objective. We need to ask the question, for instance, what happened in Qatar recently? How justified that is? And it has been revealed that the United States gave Israel permission to bomb the building, to attack the building, even when the U.S. themselves asked the group to assembly come to Qatar to discuss, the ceasefire. So how could one trust these people? In the case of Panama, for years, they supported Noriega. They knew he was involved in drugs. They knew he was, profiting from drugs. But because he was their agent, and it's only after he began to sort of distance himself, like the case of Saddam, that they went for him. The same thing with Alan Stanford. They had him as an agent dealing with money laundering. And when was the time to come, they took him out. So I just want people to know all these things when we're talking about being neutral and that kind of thing. This is nonsense. You cannot be neutral in this world.
Thank you.
You could be fair, you could be honest, but not neutral. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Jay, and good morning to your listeners.
Good morning to you.
Seems like we have an issue here with two prisoners escaped, and they went and killed 2 American citizens. Since then, we haven't heard nothing about that case.
I don't think that process is absolutely correct, because there was I think there was already a conclusion with that matter already, sir.
Yeah, I'm talking pertaining to the family when they had a case against Grenada. How much we have to pay the estate of the family?
Oh.
We haven't heard how much.
I thought he was still talking about the code matter, the local part of the code matter, on that level.
No. I'm talking about the family sued Grenada for a certain amount of money. We haven't get our figures yet, and we haven't know what.
Well, I would assume that is probably still ongoing, so we wouldn't get any, of course, conclusion on that as yet.
Well, I guess GBN should try to figure out that, yeah, because we need to know. And secondly, so I'm talking about the farmers right now. For the longest while, we've been having sun, lots of sun, and most of the farmer stuff, what they planted, who have the water, may get through, but most of the farmers are dependent on the rain. I know they are suffering right now because we got sun right through. I'm just saying that we have this project a couple of years ago. We call it Chamber Water Project, and most of the farmers in St. Patrick's will depend on that project to plant during the rainy season and during the dry season to help mind the family. Most of them right now they're planting their crops. The sun burn everything, so most of them are hungry right now, and they're going through hell. If that project was up and running right now, you could imagine our farmers would have water, they could wet their plants, and they could take care of the family. This project has been dormant for the longest while. I'm asking the government to help the farmers in that area and through the dry areas in Patrick's and La Poultry and different areas that need water to wet their plants. Because farmers depend on their land. And if they can't get water to wet their plants, there's a problem. It's as simple as that. You can get some black, what do you call it? We call it tank, and give most of the farmers in Greener who are pollen with water. Pass it over water truck now and then and give them water, get water from the river so farmers can water their plants and take care of the family. It's not rocket science. Just the will to get it done. And farmers depend on the land. Say the land will produce and they can't get it sell, they're in problem. So we take care of our hard-working farmers, people that feed the nation. Go there and work hard to feed the nation. Let's take care of these people, please.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. Appreciate your call. Hey, folks, it's straight up 10 a.m. That's where we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. I want to thank everyone who contributed in terms of those who called in. Thank you so much. Those who sat at home and listened. And I appreciate that a whole lot also. Until then, have a good one, folks. Which will be tomorrow. We will have another edition for you of To The Point. This is where I say goodbye for today.